So it was essentially this little box you had to carry around with you that took up extra weight and storage, especially if you want to take something on the go. And this is just a lot more portable and easy to use. In the packaging, you have access to the mouse, a rechargeable cradle, which you can see has this interesting blue light that actually illuminates in the dark when you place it onto the dock for charging. Fully charging the mouse takes about 4 hours to complete, so it takes a fair amount of time. And the most disappointing facet of the mouse is it uses a rechargeable lithium nickel battery instead of a lithium ion. And that means that the battery will deplete faster and it will only last about a year or two before you need to really replace it, which is unfortunate. Although Gyration does sell replaceable batteries on their website, it retails for about $20 to $30. It's an extra cost you'll need to factor in. Performance for the battery is also average at best. We only got about 3 to 4 days of usage before we need to recharge it by putting it back onto the cradle, compared to some products by Logitech that could last for weeks before you need to recharge it again. Taking a look, you have access to an LED indicator. It tells you when the charge has been completed, when the device is powered on, and it's pretty complimentary and easy to use. The dock can also be found as an accessory for $25 on Gyration's website in case you lose it. Taking a look at the receiver, you can see it's a pretty standard USB 2.0 receiver crafted out of plastic. There's a simple connect key that allows you to connect to both the remote and the mouse, and there's also an LED indicator that will illuminate when the connection has been fixed. So going over the hardware first of the actual keyboard, it is again a fairly compact keyboard. If you have a Samsung Galaxy S3 here, you can see it's a bit smaller than your average mechanical keyboard or standard desktop keyboard, and so it's a fair bit easier to carry around, like we said, but you still have a full-size layout, so it's very comfortable and tactile to type on, despite not having a island or chiclet style design going on. On the top, you have access to a number of media controls that correspond to the connect key. Tap on this once to connect to the receiver. You have access to some special controls for the volume, skip tracks, play pause for media, and also going home back for the browser options. And these are pretty easy to press and tactile and risen above the surface. On the very back, you have access to the rechargeable to the batteries. You can use rechargeable batteries, but it actually takes single-use batteries as well. You need 4 AAA batteries to operate the keyboard, which lasts about a year before you need to replace the batteries again. And the battery performance here is decent, and it includes 4 batteries inside the packaging as well. And on the very top here, you have access to 2 arms that you can open up. Allows you to give you a better position if you want to type at a slight angle, and it positions the product at this tilted degree, which makes typing a bit faster and easier. Overall, the keyboard, we are fans of it. Keys are generally nicely spaced, they're domed, and they have a nice feel to it when you type on it. It takes very acclimation to get used to, and it's very similar to any keyboard that's built onto laptops or perhaps some netbooks out there. With that being said, it's very comfortable, and it's a great accessory, especially for ultra portables and perhaps tablets that might have slightly smaller keyboards that aren't as comfortable to use. And it's also very portable. Going on to the remote next, this is where the more unique facets of this particular product comes into play. The rechargeable nickel-ion battery can be replaced by pressing on the socket over there, and you can remove the battery, as you can see, like so. You can also purchase spares, so you can put in 2 or 3 and bring it with you when you're traveling. The control set is pretty easy to use. You have 3 main controls for using the air mouse. So when you're using the air mouse, you hold down the click key on the bottom there, and then you can click on the center for an OK select key, and left and right for the corresponding left and right keys. And now this becomes basically an air mouse or an air gesture mouse, where you can wave it around, the cursor will move around on screen as you're moving your hand, and then you can tap and press to go to different links, to click onto the next slide for presentations, and do some basic couch surfing for watching YouTube or anything like that. As a general mouse, it's also very, very comfortable. You can see how there are 2 sides that are concaved in the center, which makes it easy to hold and use with your left hand or with your right hand. The keys themselves are super responsive and tactile. They're almost a little bit too responsive for our tastes. Just the slightest hit will actually trigger a key, a left key or a right key. So unfortunately, there's no way to make this less sensitive. We found it to be super hypersensitive sometimes. So just be aware of that. It takes some acclimation to get used to. The center scroll wheel is tactile and grippy, although it could use a bit more resistance. It's not as heavy as we want it to be, but overall it's definitely a satisfying design going on. Again, it's very easy to kind of curl your fingers along the sides and then to use it and then pick it up again. So it's comfortable in both manners whenever you want to use it using your hand or holding it. So a nice design overall. The bottom, of course, just uses a basic laser to kind of create the design, and you have 2.4 gigahertz as the main wireless connection. As far as day-to-day usage goes, I would say that performance is generally pleasing. There is a bit of heating that gets accumulated with this mouse. So when you start using it for a while, some heat builds up on the center here and also on the bottom, which is something that we haven't really encountered from past mouses from both the manufacturer and also from other manufacturers. It's a little bit strange and probably why the battery drains a bit faster, and hopefully something the company can work out in the future. As far as performance, again, the range is decent, about 10 feet from our computer. It's still very, very accurate, and we didn't really have any issues. Performance-wise, you have the Gyration Air Mouse Suite, as an optional CD that you can install if you want to, and then you can customize the keys to do different things, like open up a specific application, and the process is pretty smooth. Again, very, very similar to a Wii nunchuck on a Wii experience on a game. So nothing too much to write home in that department. It basically acts as a presentation tool. As far as performance, again, pretty good, pretty strong for presentations, for teaching, for couch surfing, or for entertainment. And in terms of footage, it's basically the same as the Gyration Air Remote, which we reviewed and actually have some test footage on. If you want to check that out on our website, we do have that. So you can take a look at that in terms of how it actually functions with the on-screen experience. Overall, we would say that the Gyration Air Mouse Go is a nice solution and a really nice deal, just because for $99 you have both the Air Mouse / remote in addition to the keyboard and also a wireless charging dock that's pretty cool and easy to use. Overall, we definitely recommend it, and you can check out more details again in our full written review on our website. Thanks for watching. Here are OS Reviews.